Thank y'all for coming to this camp. And it's all about crafting worlds and stories in each other. And we are here with our special guests. You all probably came out to see. A lot of you probably already know this person. A lot of y'all probably following this person around with a confidence secretly trying to get a after this panel. But we also wanted to come together to talk a little bit about the actual conversation. What's the actual conversation? It's that we need to make more worlds that can hold and center Black, Native, Asian, Latino, queer, trans people. And I'm sitting here on this panel with two experts, I would say, in that. Two homies, old homie and new homies. Before I introduce you to these two amazing people, I want to give a little bit of a preamble. And so I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna talk about, and then I'm gonna tell you what I told you. So, first off, why are we here? I already covered that. We need to make more stories that sense our folks. What are you gonna see? You're gonna see two really dope humans who are really excellent improv actors, collaboratively create a world together to host a story, to host an adventure for your favorite tabletop role-playing game of choice. And it's gonna be a lot like watching the Great British Baking Show or a Great Confluence Baking Show, and they're in the middle of whisking the egg or figuring out that the planet has gravity or not. I'm asking you questions about their life, and I'm making y'all asking questions too. And then if you're still wondering about why this conversation is important, well, the first part of it is that for our folks, people are making some really rich money telling stories about us or for us or with our culture importantly, so we can do the job better. And the second is that good world building is what makes the story live in our minds forever. It's what makes the lifesaver in the galaxy far away live in your brain rent-free. And so the question that we're going to answer today is how can we do that for ourselves, keep doing it for ourselves. And so to help us delve into those deep questions and even more deep questions, I want to introduce our panel. So I'll be your host tonight. My name is Duaba. I am an Afro-Indigenous world maker, writer, role player, game designer, community builder. I'm originally from New Orleans, but and I have the honor of being here with our first homie, so you probably have seen David around some cities at the, can I talk about some places that, no? Science Museum, yeah, Circle the Peace Movement, served on the 825 Arts Board, currently he's the Associate Executive Director of 825 Arts. And when he isn't helping to facilitate community, he can be found working on songs, performing plays, dabbling in poetry, writing poetry, making zines, making handcart animals and earrings, or hosting Dungeons and Dragons for our friends. And then, let's meet y'all. And then we have a guest who probably needs no introduction, but I'm a higher brother anyway. So we have an honor sitting here with Aabria Iyengar. Self-described, improv creator, improv storyteller, also the featured game master of Mandela Obscura, Alexandria Unlimited. Yeah, Memphis Zone. One of her latest projects, World Beyond Number. Created with the homies, Eric Ishi, and Mulligan, and Moore, and Wilson. And they working on anything else that you want to know? That's something.
No, I'm like, okay, there's a little thing that we do, it's called reading through which NDAs I might be willing to break. And one of them was big enough, I was like, shut up. I've never been in a room talking about stuff that I worked on with this many faces that look anything like me. And that makes me want to trust y'all. This is great. I'm not gonna say shit because Marvel's the scariest one in the world. But we got cool stuff cooking.
So, before we get started with creating a world together, or you two creating a world together, I'm just being up
You're part of it.
I'll need you to finish on close on time. We'll simple it. And I'll make sure that, the generator story and gives the audience that it's all going to be and pick things up. But before we get started, I just wanted to give you some time, since you started all the way out here, to share more about your process, more about the work that you do, and more about how you make the world intelligent for people of culture.
Thank you. I guess I'll be very specific. There's a lot of chances on the internet to speak very broadly about process and general perspective. But this is a very cool, very specific panel, and anyone that follows World Beyond Number is up next for the big C. So I guess I will take my little minute here and talk about building worlds inside of building a game that takes place in space. So some of the bigger comps that I'm using, it's very Dune, it's very Star Wars, with a caveat that Star Wars is fantasy and not sci-fi. And there's a very long-winded board game called Twilight Imperium. It's my husband's favorite board game, much to my chagrin. And at some point I realized when I had a chance to sit down and build a campaign without any of the rules that I normally have to sit under when I generate for the role or come in and do something inside of a pre-established IP at CR or a task, when I had the opportunity to build exactly what I wanted for however long I wanted, with exactly the people I wanted to play with, which I'm now getting emotional about because it's not the thing to do all the time. I wanted to build a love like a master. So, stop, I wanted to love my husband, it's so fucked up. He also wants to fuck I cried about him. But inside of that, try to look towards the things inside of Twilight fascinating with the world and the lore, that idea of massive factions, of politics that cannot seem to escape a very Western European colonialist. It's built by the people, it's built by and marketed towards the people, it's marketed toward. But in a chance to, like, with a chance to go, like, I will always bring my perspectives, both politically and temperamentally, to whatever I build. How do we take this and operate at that scale and tell different kind of stories? This doesn't have to be about conquest or delineating between factions, but faction play is inherently fascinating. I think we all care a little bit about how very large groups with very different perspectives and priorities, how do we engage with negotiating with the other? And what the other means when monoculture tends to build it is we make aliens that are snakes with titties. And people want to use their war son, but the cats with other cats on their back don't want that shit to happen. And we're like, all right, I guess that's diversity. But however you have to like create a sense of other, how do you create a world that serves that and doesn't reduce it to a set of stereotypes? How do you talk about, how do you find commonalities and where points of conflict come up, what can be negotiated through, and what simply does require a level of violent resolve to move through. And I don't know if I have all of the greatest answers for that, but it will be the work of this. God, I love my friends, they're making me cry too. It will be the work of myself and my very dear friends, the best storytellers in the world, to try to tell that story for all of you. So I'm very excited for tonight because there's something inherently fun about, not like gamifying, but talking about your process as you're actually engaging inside of it, where you're like, oh, thinking about how I think about things makes it a little easier to go back to, well, you know, I come up with another planet and I can't make more tea snakes. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about this so I can go home and watch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think looking at the same question of like how do we build worlds for people of color, I'm thinking a lot about like my process has been, so I lived in Seattle for a long time and all of the game tables that I were at were like all my white friends and then me, like the one brown person. And so when I moved out here, I was really resolved to like find and create a group of BIPOC people. But in our first year of playing together, that we talked about this a couple of years ago, which I kind of Duaba and I were on.
In this room.
What I had to yes, it was exactly what I had discovered was that as a DM, you can switch out all of the people, and that does help in a sense of like cultural infusion, but it doesn't help if you're not also willing to start questioning what it is about the world that you live in that you don't want to live in anymore. And I hadn't really like started to do that. And so we took a year and we were like, all right, what's good about what we're doing? What doesn't work about what we're doing? And I was like, I'm still doing like a lot of like Scottish and British accents for some reason. We're still using like a lot of medieval focused systems. And so since then, I've been really trying to branch out and challenge myself with scenarios. So like, in the game that I'm running for adults right now, I think I started with like, what is a new structure for theism that looks beyond like Greek and Roman style gods that tend to get reiterated over and over? What does it look like to have like a multi-tiered theistic system, which you don't know about at all because they're players at my table. It is a multi-layered theistic system. They have not gotten there yet. They will find out. But then also like what is conflict in a world that is not challenged with like war or poverty or illness or colonialism. And so rather than like focusing on those things as pivotal to the story, I focused on like what if people were willing to trade their most secret dreams for like safety from war or safety from it's fun, it's awesome, but I think it's really great. My girlfriend's OG creative, so we were building our first characters, and her son was like, oh, I want to be a Dragonborn, and I want to be a druid, and my background is a noble. And I thought about it for like a few days afterwards. He's like, I want to be the king one day, but right now I'm just a prince. And I like sat with his mom and talked about it, and I was like, cool, let's like take some of the world that we don't want to live in out of this and put the world that we do want to live in into this. What if the druids in this world that we're operating in use an indigenous form of government? So like, what does it mean to be a chief? What does it mean to integrate the Ojibwe like seven grandfather teachings into the value system of the group that you're in? And what are the qualities that you as a player need to be striving towards in order to actually like become the chief of your people one day? The relationships you need to have with the plant nation, the relationships you need to have with the animal nation, and how that changes the entire way that you interact with the world from like a no longer like a combat giant perspective, but instead of what does it mean to be a good person? Exactly. It is a practice of what does it mean to embody your values. Yeah.
At any point, have you noticed systems that prescribe certain behaviors just by virtue of mechanics to show you on the page get in the way of like actually that kind of justice? I'm calling out to you.
Usually do be like that. I think.
Every time you level up, you get better at enforcing your will in the world. How do you rectify a world where you are disrupting the lives world and disentangling that from a system that's still predicated on increasing your sense of dominion over your environment and people around you as you upgrade?
I think that there are some small ways that you can use what is there on the page to like impact that dynamic. So like a lot of people will make their character and they're like, I'm neutral good, and then they go through the world and they do some things that are like pretty sus, honestly. Things I wouldn't do to my homie, and I think looking at a system and having conversations with your players where like your session has come to an end, you have 2 minutes left, and you're like, Michelle, your character is neutral good, but today I saw you give a poisoned apple to a child. So we're going to have a conversation about your alignment changing and what kind of things drive a change in alignment. And then it pushes your players to think more, okay, like, who do I actually want to be and who is my character and what is the difference between like me as a player doing something because I think it's fun and me as a character doing things that like actually change who I was trying to be.
Yeah.
Intentionality.
That is crazy because there is so much inside of like chasing it is such a big inside of life, especially in games that are probably consumption. You're like, yeah, chasing it right into the behavior that will put you under jail. What? What does that say about how it works? I don't have a follow-up question. This is fascinating. I love like it's because I'm like over here like, oh, I can see what you as a small, like little tiny human with a smaller reference set, what is exciting and what you feel empowered is. And it's usually just a lot of people, you're like, I'm the DK, or Sims Prince DK, you're like, Aabria. Fair.
You know, I played for the first time with children at Confluence 2 years ago, and I was really afraid. I was like, oh no, I've like, never heard of companies for kids before, like, what if they think I'm lame? What I came to discover was that it is like so much more rewarding with adults, because like, if an adult figures out how to get the key out of the gelatinous cube and use it to unlock the door, they're like, cool, figure that out. And the kid's like, oh my god, I can't get off! No, I won't believe what I did! Like, they get out and on them. It makes it a whole day. It is super rewarding to design for children.
Yo, I want to keep up this conversation.
Oh, sorry, wait.
I want to see y'all do the thing. Y'all are really good at doing the thing. So, alright, so now we're gonna do this outside and so so let me tell you what's gonna happen. All right, so if you're looking at the screen, this is the most boring thing in the world, it's a spreadsheet. But it's kind of really cool because whenever you type a key on the spreadsheet, it generates like a random prompt for an adventure. And so what we're gonna do together is we're gonna come up with 3 different adventures that we want each to build a world around. And so we're gonna need audience participation at this point. Basically, if you rock with the story, I need you to cheer. I can't really do that well this year, so if you're on this side, you can really make some noise. It's a lot of noise. If you don't like it, you can boo it. And we'll go on, we'll find something else. I'll just push another key. And then once you all pick the story, you two build the world. And then we'll kind of watch them. We'll watch them go into the class.
Pass.
Real quick, credit where credit is due. I did co-build this with my homie Grant Kirkpatrick in Seattle. A long-time friend, so I did not make this form by myself.
This is so cool, and I do just want to shout out how an extremely nerd room, when you said spreadsheets are boring, and you're like, oh, fuck you. How dare you smirch a Google sheet? You almost got rushed on me.
You know, the best like I did run spreadsheets. We got a black comedy. Starting point is the streets of the trailer park. The catalyst for the story is a room therapist. And the hook is you have to do something with it and see catalyst. How do you feel about that story? Are we feeling that one? We have a drama that is set in a wholesome high school vibe, starting point, back alley, very good vibe. Race car driver.
Which of the three are we doing?
Are we doing all of that?
I mean, you're supposed to get it fit.
Hard mode. This is a trophy.
Alright, so this is the trilogy story, so we're doing all of them. My mistakes is all okay? So, you can make it work.
Yeah.
It's doable.
It's crazy.
We got time.
A24's got the dime.
Alright, so now, I think the first question that's got to be answered is how do we approach work? What is work and how do we start it? None of it else.
Amazing. I think the first thing I want to speak to is personally, when beginning to build, I tend to build theme first. So when you're talking about building a world component, I want to look at the genres that we've got for that. So we've got drama, action, and post-apocalyptic. And me sort of sitting and looking at the comps and the major sort of like, what are the North Stars inside of those three not enough related genres that exist inside this world? We're trying to.
I can see it.
We can get there, but I think we need to talk about how do you take the problems inside of, like, I think because post-apocalyptic is the most specific, let's go from specific out. Post-apocalyptic tends to be about navigating humanity brought down to its basest instincts and replicating feudalist, hyper-violent survival. We are now sitting inside of a bunch of tropes that to me feel like the moment you approach the politics of resource allocation and the rebuilding of society, you have to look at how do you build a society that is not white colonialism, imperialism, all of it. That's the scary thing about it. When you're like, oh, God, I tear down the system. And you're like, this is the most obnoxious, like, white liberal nonsense to me, because if it's just about tearing down, but you haven't taught yourself to imagine a better world, why do you think anything you're going to rebuild isn't just your latest over-to-window shift into the same kind of thing? You can't build better, you know better. So then the question becomes, is the world during the post-apocalypse from, was it already past those like major signs and like landmines inside this world? Or is it our world with a collapse event, and now for whatever reason, the way power structures have happened, we have a chance. If you do that one right thing, if you can convince people along your path or on your way, can you build a better future by teaching a better kind of hope along with that? So that would be my question about the business world.
It's wild that you say that the captain thing is like over.
I thought he went, Don Cheadle!
Alright, so, think about what the collapsing is.
I mean, I think as I'm looking at it, I was like, okay, we're looking at post-apocalyptic, that is the most specific thing that we've got going here. I was like, is it Earth? Is it non-Earth? A cornfield feels pretty Earth, like you could look at Earth colony and look at this planet, but it feels pretty Earth. And then a race car driver in a cornfield, I got thinking ethanol. Like, so that takes me all the way to, we're in a post-apocalyptic scenario where like gasoline and fossil fuels are like done, they've been used up. We've got a climate situation that has like been inescapable for a lot of folks, especially those in the South. But what does that mean for, I mean, my mind's probably like Mad Max. But like, where do we go from there?
Okay, so catalyst in the cornfield bring ethanol. Oil has peaked. We're now boiling fermented things. Allowing our vehicles to go away. He's living by the
I don't got porn, I got family. I think there's a fun question of like how close to the collapse event are we? Because then it's a question of like, is this, okay, I didn't watch F1 because it bores me. But is this a sort of like, Brad Pitt was a disgraced something driver and then he becomes the same thing again? Like, is this a person who was a race car driver in the before times? Or are we recontextualizing what race car driver means here and now in a world so far removed that you're like, oh, we're racing because we had to harvest as much of this corn before corn cops show up to take the corn to make robots. Please stop.
So we got race car drivers, we got cornfields. If we think about Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota,
They're all the same thing.
what we have is large swaths of land with very few people on them. So I'm imagining like race car drivers who are actually like representatives of their community racing for resources. The race for water, the race for medicine. And that takes us to the remedy to an illness, right? So he's a race car driver, he's in the cornfield, and he's racing for access to some medicine. They have these races and there's like prizes for the winners.
Can I make a little pitch? I feel like there's a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction that requires an illness that is causing an event for humanity. Can this be a crop like that if it affects like this critical crop, like we're going to get a collapse that we don't get to come back from?
And they're going to have a cultural collapse because they built their culture around racing.
Yeah! Stop talking about racing!
The second last thing happens if there's perhaps some cops.
Yeah, yeah, I love like that. I'm Larry Corporacilia. I love life. Fuck every planet I've ever met.
Are you guys looking to teacher?
Yes! Oh my god, that song!
You gotta love that.
I can't sing, no one wants that.
You like a brother.
Okay, we're somehow going to integrate the Prince of Egypt movie into this. Not they're reaching for a DVD, the other Blu-ray copy of the Prince of Egypt, only the first one done the bonus. Exactly. And the cure to porn blight. They're equally important. Probably doesn't have to not be stupid. I really like this because now this trilogy feels really grounded in. There was at some point, for whatever reason, I'm like, I'm not thinking about RPG, I'm thinking about movies. There's some flashback to a like lost but not quite destroyed ruin of the wartime culture that becomes the flashback for one of those two other films.
So we going to the drama or we going to the action?
I think it's gotta be the drama.
Okay, so
That makes
Show politician.
Yeah.
I think so. Because the politician can explain how they got to where they're at.
Yeah. I like this. That's very silly. We don't have a flashback on that part yet. We can talk about the weird
What
ones.
is drama? A basement rock show.
Yeah.
Disgraced politician. A fight to the death.
But there's something really fun inside, like, even inside of stories where we like want to send them other voices, I think there's something very, not our voices, there is something inside of turning a harsher eye to the ways in which the violent imbalance in power in society, especially right now, creates the imbalance that is the catalyst for a different world. So I love that this drama is one of those things where you're like, this feels like the most unimportant interpersonal drama. It's gonna end with a fight to the death for no real reason, and yet you'll realize that because this was a disgraced politician who had the exact inside of that politician's individual moment of oversight, caring more about whatever was going down in the drama, they let the last thing slip through the cracks. That caused the last chip to fall, and everything is bad because the people that we hoped were in power for the sake of their communities use them as individual power grabs and let all their personal bullshit be just another straw on the camel's back, and the world falls apart when you are trained for individual recognition.
So is it disgraced politician who, like, through corruption, let things go bad? Or is it disgraced politician who's, like, actually a hometown hero but defeated by the forces?
Ooh!
Yeah.
Okay, that's nicer. I was thinking disgrace because of personal scandal, but not removed from power. So someone who's like, I am so busy trying to cover my ass off of the world, like a Coldplay affair. And because they're so focused on trying to micromanage their image and not do their job, something huge falls through the cracks. And we just hit that level of collapse where you're like, it only takes this tiny last thing. This isn't caused because a politician got into a really weird fight during a basic rock show.
Alright, so we need continuity. Okay, so.
Yeah, right on the spot.
This politician is the originator of the games. And so, yeah, like whatever form like shit that's happening, it's starting. The tipping point is now. And rather than use diplomacy, he was like, I'm disgraced, I'm messed off, I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna challenge this politician from another nation to a deathmatch live on TV. Never get the games, the competition for resources.
Okay.
The games.
So it's like a new Olympics that there's racing, but it also culminates in a gladiator match to the end.
Yeah, it's like whenever the senators go into the Capitol building, it's like Street Fighter.
The Honorable Senator from New Kansas, 6'8", 280 pounds, 3% body fat with a 4-foot reach. This is your boy, Broad.
Can the disgraced politician also be the person in the rock band? Can he be like,
So funny. It's a corn cover band, you cannot change my mind.
Alright, so we arrived at this cover band.
It's just cool. They couldn't find the font. They couldn't find the font on Google Docs, so it's just corn and
Okay, so politicians lead to a corn blight, which results in collapse of society. And disgraced politician creates a person name. What else happened? We still got the action going. We put defense and drama, and putting the jump back into the post-apocalyptic lives and stuff.
I want to jump back to this conflict, guys, because I love the legacy of this sort of like senatorial cage match culture. Is how we got to the like now it's race. Like it's not fighting. The competition for resources is such that you're like, I can no longer build a corn-fed meat piece because we need all that corn for a car. I guess. So everyone's like 4'6", a block 20, or smaller like We still have to integrate a preschool teacher. Yeah, I know. We're getting there. Come on, you stay standing. Sit if you want. I'm not trying to boss you out. I appreciate your back, like, make it make sense for the preschool teacher.
Are we doing the last part or are we jumping into
Future.
Alright,
Future.
Alright, so jump.
She's a preschool teacher who loves to party because she's drinking all this corn liquor.
Bruh. Now we can go back to eating the corn because we solved the corn blight problem. Actually, we have way too much corn. It's sort of it's like, I mean, it's kudzu. Corn is the new kudzu.
We're experiencing like soil depletion in the real world where the food that we're eating is just half as nutritious as it used to be. So you're gonna have to eat like 5 times as much corn as you would normally have to eat just to get your calories for the day. Like it's like you were corn in a couple hours.
In a world where everyone's gotta wear a little feed bag. Because now we're even smaller. Hummingbird rules. You have to eat your body weight in corn every day. Or you will die.
And now we're in Minnesota. People are drinking a lot of liquor.
Yeah, because it's an easier way to get calories. Like, calorically,
There's a lot of diabetes in the world.
yeah.
Okay, but it's better than the collapse society where we're racing each other to the death.
Yeah.
Or like what?
I love the idea. I genuinely love the idea that you're living in a world where you're like, I'd rather be drunk than starving. And like, that is a joke, but there is something interesting inside of like when you have to make big choices. When you have to decide what your new normal is going to be inside of a collapse, there is something in like, either I have like a weird reverse corn catheter that is just absolutely pushing clean corn into my GI tract 24/7, or I'm a little bit rocked all day long trying to drink my calories.
What's the actual vibe?
What? Hell, go back to the prompt.
Alright, look at
I just remember there was a bad report card.
So, astronaut. Breakfast school. Preschool teacher who loves to party, a bad report card. Why is it a report card? Why is it
It's a report card for a teacher.
Okay, so, and what is
Because
that?
children in kindergarten don't, or preschool don't get a report card.
So,
You get a note into you. But maybe there's a report card for the teacher. It's like, hey, maybe you need to do the high fructose corn syrup injections because you are lit. You can't just teach children lyrics to like Sean Paul's song.
maybe like everybody gets report cards. You get a bad grade on the report card, they cut your liquid out.
I like this because now there's a report card and you sort of social monitoring where you're like, oh, the people around you. It's a little bit like the Black Mirror episode about getting like rated by everyone around you. But I love a world in which you're like the social responsibility and where you decided to drink your calories every day. That means everyone around you gets to let you know if you've like gone too far outside of a very delicate social balance because the world isn't better, it's just not in collapse. But you have to pull your weight.
And in this particular world, the brain of the best is lost in the bad.
Why did she go here? We ate her first!
Well, it's like the world is reunified by school. The great
And in this world, I'm assuming most of school is still about corn.
Yeah.
So she gets a bad report card, whether it's for teaching or not for social performance. She's at the bottom. She's at the record store. And we somehow need this to like get an action vibe. I think one thing that is like standing out for me is that we've done a a lot of work on this cornfield world. But I think kind of the question that's central of like the panel is still outlined for me, which is how do we take the world that we've built and adapt it for the people that we are and the cultures that reflect us and our stories.
That is the question.
So if there's an action piece, that means there's conflict. And I'm curious about whether there could be, in this cornkill world, like some collard greens rebels. Where does the conflict come in?
Yeah, it's well, you know, there's like a really dope book about like how plant species grow people, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And so you have like some communities of people where it's like, yeah, we rock with corn. And like we made from corn, keeps us alive. There's other people who's like, yeah, we rock. We really gotta do it. It follows us everywhere. So it's like a competition between two plant species, open versus corn.
Okay, I got this. Alright. I don't know how we're getting reconciled. I think in a world where you have this like monocrop, in order to try to stabilize a crop that so clearly was the last linchpin holding the remnants of society together, it was overcorrected for. Like once we figured out how to keep the corn blight from wiping out this crop, changing everything about the soil and the environment to make sure that the corn could super flourish is unfortunately a colonizer take on great, let's make sure we can always only grow this. So I think the actual revolutionary action set piece is having a teacher who's like, all right, maybe I'm a little drunk to teach children. But the thing that I'm rebelling against is realizing that this heavily modern monoculture that's so focused on the increasing amount of this singular crop required to keep us alive is not allowing us to flourish. Why aren't we going back to the things I actually studied in school when I wanted to teach whole class children and not just preschoolers about crop rotation and food variety? Why did we stop doing this? Why did we forget that we were more than this one?
So they're getting a bad report because they're teaching plant diversity.
Yeah! Children! The children of the corn!
I used to work in a museum, and one thing that I really appreciated, the museum that I worked in was a science museum and had a huge seed collection. And so it was really dope to be able to connect with indigenous communities and be like, hey, this is corn from 1890, but if you plant it, it should still work, and you'll be able to get corn that your ancestors ate and not this overproduced, genetically modified whatever it is that we're eating now. And I think if there's an action portion for this rebel preschool teacher, can she be trying to get pre-apocalypse seeds?
We're bringing back the race to her friend. She has to race to go find an indigenous seed vault.
Okay, alright,
And the tagline, there was
In the time of God, we realized the plane. Everybody listening to somebody streaming there for 20 minutes straight. That was beautiful. What do y'all think about this world? And what questions do you all want to ask these two world builders? Y'all gotta be nice.
yeah, you do.
So that's something maybe in order for us to
that was like some mutation of that fungus is the like kickoff event. It's like, oh, this is no longer harmful in a way that can also be like sideways a part of our like gameplay, like our culinary culture. Oh, I like that a lot. Because now I really want, like, since this is clearly taking place in Minnesota/Iowa, in the Great Plain betwixt the states, that the race has to be south. It has to leave the US. It has to go back to where indigenous cultures both like originated
And more cultivation of corn.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to where it started and realize that the cultures that are flourishing there post this collapse were y'all eat too much corn. And that's our shit. Like, and going back there and engaging with cultures that develop this and go like, oh, that's not so hot forever ago. Here's like biodiversity. Here's how to bring that back into balance again. And it's a matter of being able to drive yourself towards like greater and older knowledge than all of the weird like political affects that can lead to orange pills. The first pill.
That's the mic around.
So I was listening recently to, I think it was the second, and then one of the characters that introduced a new character that's famous, and one of the ideas that they really wanted to focus on was making sure that this is a character that is grounded in the present, because there's so much focus on the indigenous representation that we currently have. There's like this idea of public stagnation that isn't true to indigenous people. So I wonder, is that something that you want to incorporate into this, or is that something that maybe could be
Stagnation, generation, those things are being essentially.
I would say absolutely. I also think that that is what is so like key and important to having diverse groups of people creating together. Is like, unfortunately, like I am indigenous, I'm Black and indigenous, but like I don't have those corn stories in my culture, and so I think that's why it's so important to be creating with and working with people from a variety of backgrounds. Because I didn't know anything you just said about like the fungus that's edible, and I think I've been blessed to spend time with like a lot of Mayan folks who have like educated me on like the way corn plays into their cosmology, and the development of like star charts and things like that. But I think having those people in the room to like tell their own stories on what the relationship to corn looks like in modernity is really key. So,
I was just saying, I think that's a really trying to actually tie it back to this,
More kill.
More kill! That idea, like, yeah, I think in the wrong hands going and finding, like, communities with sequels, and we're gonna live the way they did for 1,000 years. No! Once we didn't have the problem we fucking had, we rebuilt civilization. You guys are living in a weird backwoods world where you're never able to rebuild the stability that allows for like the culture that was arrested in the collapse event to not only be sustained but move forward. I love the world where you see the amount of like you put everything in your society on corn. So you don't have cities anymore. You had no corn and then too much corn. It's like a weird little corn tribes. And everyone else that maintained diversity and like was able to move through a terrifying but not society with devastating event. We have cities. Our wall is in the middle of our very normal city, you fucking weirdo.
rebuild the world on indigenous values.
Yeah.
When you look past the race cars, the violence, the sex, the drama, the cover bands, and death matches between politicians that we're really into. Yes, I dig it. I guess from here, like, what would be the next step for you in turning this world that you just built in 20 minutes into a game?
I think for me, when it comes to like world building, like I've used this kind of format to do like story generation with friends before, and then if it's actually going to turn into like a game for me, I'm a person who really loves a map. I will sit down and map out like, okay, Cornfield is clearly like post-apocalyptic US, so like what's happening in the Midwest, what's happening here, like what are the names of the communities, what are the beliefs of the communities, like do they have like a theistic system? I think that starting to get into a map is really helpful for me, especially just in thinking about like what my players are going to experience. Because I'll be like, okay, they're starting off in this village, but in any game that you're playing, like you're moving from place to place. So where's the place that they're moving and why are they going there? And having a sense of the world is really helpful for me.
For me, trying to take this it's
Complex scripting.
It's complex and scripting and a little silly. And I think that's okay. Yeah, like I don't think that's bad. I think a little silly and a little stupid is not a completely denigrated. Like I love learning so many of those stories are like, imagine a stupid thing. How could I make you cry? And I think there's something really fun, especially because we do so much genre jumping. I think I started looking for mechanics that would support that, and I think I very quickly play the game of this whole is a little, not silly, it's a little scattered. So in order to make sure I can ground my players in the reality of it, how do you jump genres and mechanics to go back into the past and tell a little about story? It's sort of an RPG, sort of a tabletop game like Icarus, that is very much about the falls of society. Like I think I would do something inside of like the collapse event is maybe either an Icarus or some candles, so I can have people sitting inside of like, here's the regular world and it's all about to go away. Hear about this as it goes, because when I jump you into the future and I'm saying we're going so much that we lost the game, you'll have some like North Star for the world that was normal felt the loss of. Because now we're in this silly place of fighting to preserve core and then having it to measure it. So I think there would be a lot of jumping around and really excited about genres as we do have things in order to have that players live inside the different versions of this world that
I was just really 10 candles for the first time, but y'all haven't played 10 candles. Really should. Shout out to Michelle who obviously played it. It was so good.
I also like when this game kind of sounds like mechanically you would have a character sheet with like 3 characters.
Oh, yeah.
Like a different span of time and
I love doing the little fun reset. I'm gonna shout out to Spencer Stark for like David Valentine. And he was one of my mentors. I was playing at $4 million. We were playing a Blaze in the Dark. He said, you're playing big Blaze in the Dark? Sometimes we play RPGs for a living, you make your dorm with your friends in your house in order to like still like be we're playing Blaze in the Dark, you're using Beyblades to like resolve the beginning of like action mechanics. I don't know, don't worry about it. And at some point, you're like, let's jump into the past and so we had Beyblades in the park, and then we jumped into the past and I started running laws in this society where we could figure out what mechanics we could pull out before we came in. Because we can't really so there is something in the like play your main character and then you start to feel a little weighed down by playing Exactly.
Fighter and
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Go have we do that with DMT all the time. And you're like, oh man, Steven's head can't show up tonight. You're like, great, it's a power right now. But your character, you want to just randomly generate some stuff. Like we do those counters and resets for ourselves all the time. And I think there's something really fun set of RPGs where you don't have to get inside the forms of most script narrative structures like TV and film. You can jump around and hear that styles and it's all basic. You want to think on these too, but so much of that is in not quite parasocial, but you're watching people that you enjoy, you're sort of having fun. So watching them jump around is not thinking about the too much about it. So yeah, I think I can really genre and I can inside this. Inside of you have a very cool physical map about what's true about the world. I like the mechanical map of what's true about the characters and how they relate.
Yo, I got a signal from somebody in the audience who will not name that time is not a false construct. Yeah, but you can make it black. Can you get 5 more minutes to do a couple more questions? Or you got a question? I got a question. Oh no, so we still bond.
So it puts a lot of pressure on your players, but have you ever thought in situations like this where you actually use completely different mechanics to describe different parts of the story?
Yeah, it's harder for the players, but they're fun. They're like kids in the house. I think also if you trust that it's okay to make mistakes as you're figuring it out, where you're like, yeah, I know, sorry, you're dealing with a whole different camera set now. I go, I'm not always trying to do that, but I'm trying to give you variety in how you approach the story of this world. I think just being a little gentle with the mental speech over time, throw weird stuff in place. I promise everyone wants to rise to the challenge of you think I can do this? Cool. Oh, you know my best effort. Let's go 10 panels into Lazy in the Dark, into D&D, and back into something else. Big Lazy in the Dark, maybe. The weirdest it ever got. Right now. And then just everyone has such a good time going I don't know. But it was something so fun, just the mashup. And knowing that one of my favorite signs of fluency is when you start to joke. And one of my favorite signs of fluency mechanics is when you start to joke. You didn't play like this. And you go let's do D&D, but how about letters of smooching? I don't know. And be lighter about it. I think mechanics are important. A lot of very smart people and very good people spend a lot of time thinking very carefully on their games. But there is a bit that we cut the off. Listen to your hands, remix it. Make it for your team, make the stories for your own. Talk so much about how you build a world that is for tables that hopefully that begins with just tell stories for the people at your table. And that means these worlds become reflections of us, then our stories become reflections of us, and our mechanics become reflections of us. So nothing is sacred. And I think disentangling ourselves from the idea of any part of this being sacred, from the world building or what creates something makes to prescribe us to do. Start keeping every people. And then the thing that gets knocked down might be a little messier or severe, but the thing you go back and
Yeah, I think with the variety of TTRPG systems, it's really important to remember that it's a book, not a Bible, right? Take what works for you and move on to the rest. And I think the only way that you can do that is by, as a player, being willing to try new systems. I know a lot of people who only play D&D, they only play Pathfinder, and putting yourself out there and trying new systems, and even if no one knows how to run it, give it a call, I'll try it. Try new systems, try new mechanics, be willing to learn. Especially tomorrow in the game room in the morning, if you have to sign up.
Let's take a question from on this side. So y'all, I want to show y'all a little bit of love. Y'all got the license. Yeah, you got some.
Hi. story specifically, I would start with D&D and start creating it intentionally. I would hand them the versions of the character sheet with whole sections with walked out. I would give them PDFs of the book with like entire mechanics to remove or alter or just take off. I would start making the world of it to reflect the accomplishments. So it's exciting, right? People think it's easy.
Gave each character their own flavor. One person D&D, one person plays in
I've tried that before. It was so bad. Yeah, I mean, that's a little harder, but then there's this, I tried to, so that was just one year, so I don't have to steal it. And the moment you get things like hard idea models, T6s that have very few prescribed meanings and relies more on user players who usually do pretty well right on the left curve, and you mostly get what you want, with like some of it, some like money back and forth, versus someone who plays on a hyper rigid system, like anything has to be that hyper punching, oh, you'll hit a point where the risk, you're no longer getting the risk retweets of people. Like, yeah, like, Tommy over here is at progressive school where he got like 2 apples and a smiley face, and now he can do anything in the world, and if I sneeze wrong, my whole blood like that. So I think I would struggle with having people play under different rule sets unless something dramatically inside of the character outlay was being very specific about like, you all don't operate on the same page. One of you is a cis-white man, one of you is a person of color, and that means this view is gay. Everything's a little okay, and the mechanics are curved, so you're mostly successful. You have to report under a hyper-rigid system, and if you get it wrong, you just don't get to do it. But then there's no
Let's do 2 more questions. Oh, we want to come back. Thank you. I'm sorry.
My bad, I'm walking away the whole fucking time. I'm sorry.
I'm discussing. So I'm a writer. So as a writer, I usually utilize like building my world initially, but I always think about the world outside. On the objects that we write for characters I've seen really in reality, so where people go outside of probably what you initially want, so you kind of happens in this, but before that, do you do that for everything, or is it on a case-by-case basis of, oh shit, they exceeded beyond the world that I built, I need to now slowly rebuild and go outside of this?
Mine is a resolution at where everything up close is hyper thought about this specific thing here. And the farther you get away from the center, eventually you just sort of keep them with it. You're like, sitting at the base of this world is like, if this is true, then what else is true? And at some point, the resolution's far enough away, and like, in the event that you sprint there faster than I have like a session or a break to build for, we are operating under pure improv and effectiveness. Because that at least gives me internal consistency so the players don't bump as I generate track and fun the train. So I think as long as I have to get that in my heart, I can span that world out infinitely in the direction, but in any direction, because I know if I have the core truth of the world there, I can generate something that will be consistent, if not the level of resolution that I want past in my life. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you have to use a lot then. That's extending beyond.
Yeah.
So they can do like people do it in some characters. Did it come out?
But I just wondered about that because obviously I watch everything. I'm not a big one, but I just find myself wondering about that because it does seem to be very fluid in terms of that. I think that's sort of you play with Brand and anyone else sort of like, but it's so, it flows so wonderfully that I wonder about the contingency plan, like knowing the people that have continued, knowing that they're very likely going to do something crazy with the system, but you're like, okay. So is it because of the fact that you know the characters that you're playing with, or is it just an unconscious thing that you do to continue to expand that world unconscious that happens?
I think table trust is where the invisible rails sit inside of any very company. The first time I ran Confluence game afterwards, I met them hours before this day. So there's a level of like, I can give them in every direction because we see this episode goes all around here. Yeah, that's great. You can go forever. But at some point, like, I don't know your connections as players. So there's gonna be a little wall that I make you hit. But the trick is making you hit and not feeling impact. You get a wall and slide in the direction of the block because everything's tilted down. We're gonna go downhill. We're gonna get to the thing we get. If I can make you not look like you hit a wall, you just suddenly felt like, oh, I've just been wandering in the direction of the side. That's the trick. But when I've got like Brennan and Erica at the table, any of those like that, those are my three shooters. If you see them at any table on that, they can run in any direction. I trust that they are good enough storytellers that you can go on the wildest tangent in the world. I will ask them over time before I ask them to get on track. And that's always kind of what I would say.
I would just say, like, I think it would be really challenging to be making like D&D content for consumption because you operate with player trust, and I think what's nice in a situation where like, no one else is watching yours in your house is that you can operate with player consent. And so I think in thinking about the edges of a world, when the players want to go beyond that edge, in my last system, I was like, cool, I've created a really cutesy, like teddy bear kind of fun world that we're going to be in, and eventually we're going to get tired of that. So I've created a multiplayer system as well, and what I've done is at the end of like one short quest or adventure, I put 3 options in front of them. They have a little tablet that they can pick up jobs for, and the tablet says you can go here and pick up this job, or there and pick up that job, and there and pick up that job, and eventually it's supposed to be like multiplayer. They can put any kind of world they want, and that gives me the heads up I do as a DM. But I've got 3 seeds of ideas. They're not full plans. Well, which one do I water? They decide for me, and then I water that one, and that's where we go next together.
Okay, alright, it's been 5 minutes. And I think there's like a dance party.
Okay, you're beat. Alright,
I think there's gonna be like a senator death match later on. So, can y'all give these 2 lovely people a round? David and I are hosting a workshop tomorrow at 10:30 and 3:39. So you can come in for like 2 hours or however much time we have.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half? Okay, we'll build worlds. We'll build worlds together.
So for anyone that needs them to be about porn and second
Also, I just want to say, like, it's been 2 years since the last Confluence. We're back, y'all! Put this thing together. It's not easy to put together. It's a whole lot of work, and we do it for y'all.
Don't just ask us. But right now, the power destiny by the great state of Minnesota somehow, the ancestors, the Baba, the Ia, the Bebe. I want to